Hiya peeps, it is Milo here, back for these final 3 stages of this Telltale Part 3 Act 2, starting off with Stage 6. Now, just kicking off from the previous video as promised, what I was talking about before it ended was in regards to the setting up of raid teams compared to teams obviously that you use for stages and people stages in particular. They're very different in regards to when you're setting up a raid team. It's very important, I guess, remember, you're not looking to last a duration. You want to get things over and done with very quickly. That is different to people stages. You're wanting to last a duration just in case they get pretty hard. Because in particular when it comes to these S1++ stages and things like that, no matter how good your team is, if they can't take the damage for however long the onslaught is going to be, then it's going to be pointless how fast their rushes are, how big hitters you have in there. It's going to be nearly pointless. Whereas in raids, when you're doing raids or when you have a defense, even when you're raiding is different to when you're setting up a defense team. You want different quality players, different rushes, and you're looking for different core components in regards to setting up those teams. It's very different. So when you're raiding, you want to, I guess you're essentially looking for these very fast APs. You want these big hitters. You maybe want a healer in there. Healers and hitters are probably best for value, but you're not looking to last a duration. So in regards to these stages, I always say try and bring in a healer or two, because you're able to do that. You got your battle items also, which you don't have in raids. So you just got to remember when setting up teams, they're very different, and sometimes a raiding team or a defense team isn't always good when it comes to these high recommended team grade stages, because your defense team or your raiding team is set up very differently. Even them two are very different. I guess people always ask me to help them set up the teams and how I do it, and I always say to them, it's what do you want your team for? It's very hard to set up a team unless you have something in mind. So I have different raiding. The team I raid with is different to my defense team. The teams I attack with, obviously, when I'm raiding, completely different. The teams I use for people stages are different, zombie stages are different, and there's so many things that can change the aspects of my team. I'll probably make a video and talk a bit about them sorts. The core components, I guess, of setting up a good defense team, a good attack team, good people team, a good zombie team, you know, there's all different ones. And when it comes to attacking, you want more than one attacking team, because you're going to face people who have different team setups, so you don't want to be taking in a bunch of alerts against toughs and things like that. So you're going to get to know people's teams, and you're going to have to do these setups. So I will make a video talking about that, but for now we'll go back to this. But all I wanted to get across was that the fact that your raid team or your defense team may not always be best suited to these stages, so just be wary of that. And if you are failing with them, it may not actually be that you don't have a good enough team, but that your team setup isn't right. So just be wary of that. You want duration teams when it comes to these stages. You don't want the big hitting quick teams always when it comes to them. But as you see here, pretty much I've kept the Rick team going. I'm taking on a bit of damage. I've got allies here, so I've brought in a tough just purely because I do have alerts, so I just can take care of them strongs. And I thought I'd bring in Andrea because she downs the defense and also is a big hitter, so she's a great little skill. I'm trying to keep these guys alive because they're taking on a fair bit of damage, and I've not got the healer in there. So as you can see, replenish is gone. Already used the smelling salt. Now I've just got the tear and nerf gas to try and eliminate or limit the amount of damage they're giving. Yeah, they obviously put in on me. They're giving to me, and oh Jesus, I lost two. And I'm obviously, yeah, that's this team. I may have to change it for the next stage. Getting ready for Act 3. They're not doing too well, but like I said, they're not set up correctly. And they're still getting through okay, but they're not set up correctly. They got a crit leader. They do have people orientated weapons with attack, defense, and things like that, because I did change them. And their rushes, I've got someone in there with a crit rush, which is not really that smart, and same with Rick's rush. Like I said, if you do have a heal, probably I recommend, unless you've got an extremely high team grade and you're not struggling, definitely bring in a healer. It makes it a whole lot easier and is a lot stressful on your battle items. As you can see here, I'm clearly resourced and all mine just to get through this stage with all my teammates alive. Ended up with no smelling salts, no replenishers, down to a few of my tier and nerf gas. Had to use a few of them just to get through it. For this 8th stage, I think I'll start with my rainbow team, and what I mean by that is I said for the 3rd act I would use a rainbow team. I'm not a big fan of rainbow teams, but I thought I would use one. Seems a lot of people are fans of them, and see how it goes and sort of tell you my opinions on these rainbow teams. So this is the team we got. I'll talk you through it. We got Shane there obviously as the leader. He's one of those universal leaders where you can have a range of traits and personas in regard, not personas actually, yeah, personas, whatever, traits, personas, and all those things. It's not limited to any particular trade or any range or melee. It's not limited to anything. It's just plus 15% HP for teammates and then plus 20% against range, which is good right here because I've got some range characters. I've told you I'm not a fan of rainbow teams, but this one's it's sort of distorted here because I have Michonne as the ally who's a fast, and then I have a couple of fasts in my team. I brought in the fast healer Molly, and then Jesus, the big multi-hitter, 4-star Jesus. I've got Chuck in there who's a big hitter and Impera, and then I've got Laurie in there who is the big hitter, or the can you really call her a big hitter? We'll call her a big hitter. But I still am sort of, it's sort of swaying still towards fast here, which means I can be, can you really call it rainbow? It's a rainbow team, but it just sways towards the yellow more, which means, you know, we'll just say it's a rainbow team. I'm not a fan of these teams in raids because I think as a defense team, a rainbow team is extremely weak. As an attack team, I've not really used too many rainbow teams, but I've never really been a fan of them because I prefer the 2 traits at least, or the 1 trait, so that you know that you sort of know your weaknesses and your strengths. When it comes to a rainbow team, it's very much, it's one of those things you have there's just too many weaknesses, I think, with the rainbow team. But with these guys, what I'm trying to do here is just make sure I'm taking full, I guess, effect of their rushes and making sure I'm using them effectively enough. Molly, who is the healer and also ups your attack, I want to be making sure I'm using her first before I start hitting, even though sometimes I forget that. I do stupid things sometimes. Manage to get through stages, but I do stupid things sometimes, and you just want to be making sure. So this is where it becomes hard how to use a rainbow team, because rainbow teams, here I can target blues quite easily because I've got the 3 yellows, but I've only got the 1 alert, you know, the 1 strong, the 1 tough. It makes it hard targeting and using those bonus traits when you've only got 1 of them. That's why I'm not a particularly big fan of these rainbow teams. It's very hard to target traits when you only have 1 of them. And it also, they can, if you're not constant this way, you probably need a healer in your rainbow team. If you're not constantly healing them, or if they don't have that healing ability, you can lose them very quickly because you don't have the player base to distribute that damage, because there's only 1 of each, the strong and the tough. It makes it very hard. Michonne, of course, the ally is very weak, that's why she died. But yeah, I'll talk more about it in the next act, but that is 2 done. Thank you.